Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Football United TV. It's Thursday night. That means it's Gunners from all corners. Now it's time for that famous intro. And welcome to tonight's show. God, we got a very good panel on here tonight. You know, it's obviously, well, there's me, and if I get this right, there's him, Marley. You don't need no introduction. How you doing, Marley?
I'm doing well. I always I don't know why. It's only two choices, really. But I always get it wrong too. It's tough. It's tricky. It tricks us. But yeah, thank you, cuz. I'm doing well. Glad to be back.
Good. It's great to have you back, mate, have you on the show. And down below me, last but not least, Billy, first time on Gunners from all corners. My sidekick on the Football Premier League weekend show. Mate, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm all good. I'm happy with my team resting for a week with no European football, but I digress.
Well, there you go then. Right. Well, before we start the show, we just got to do our usual stuff here. You know, we're just going to bring it up here. Is GalaxyKits.com. You know, I tell you what, Murray, if you want to do your
I'll do my thing.
You do your thing. Yeah, do your thing on this stuff.
Yeah. Well, since we have Billy here, and you told me backstage that he's sort of a kit collector, I decided to go to the Chelsea page because they have some really, really cool Chelsea stuff. So this is Golasso Kits, GolassoKits.com. They're friends and official sponsors of the channel. If you go to the last time we did a FITA show, Football in the Americas, that's 2 Sundays ago, you can find a promo code that will get you 15% off anything. They only have authentic stuff. Everything they sell is 100% authentic. They have stuff from all the way, like second division Congo to kits like Billy's wearing right now, Real Madrid kits. So they have everything, really. So look it up. You'll be helping the channel greatly if you use that promo code as well. And yeah, support these really, really cool guys that, well, know everything about football. So big up to them.
Yeah, blimey. No, that's good. And having all those Chelsea kits. I mean, if you convert that over to the English pound, £4.50. Amazing. Right. It's all right because me and Billy, we do have a laugh and a joke on streams, don't we, Bill? You know, we wind each other up.
These days, you seem to do a lot more laughing than I do, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, we got that. It comes with the show. You've got to have a good show. You've got to have a good panel. You've got to have a good debate, a good discussion, and at the same time, have a laugh and enjoy it. You know, what more do you want? Right, we're going to go on our first topic, which is obviously the Chelsea and the Arsenal game, 2-2. I'm just going to keep this brief because me and Billy already had this discussion on our show on Sunday. Basically, I thought we were lucky. I really did think that we were lucky. Obviously, going 2-0 down, pulling it back to 2-2. I mean, goals from Trossard and who else got our goal? Oh, Declan Rice. That was it. Yeah, absolutely. But he was gifted. He was actually gifted that goal when it actually come out to him, and he literally just rifled it into the back of the net. I mean, fantastic.
He was gifted, but he still had to do well to score it, and he actually meant to shoot the ball.
He did. He
So
did.
that's something that should come into play when you're talking about luck.
Yeah, I know. I sort of go down a different road, and I realise I'm gonna get to that dead end, and I'm thinking maybe I should stop now. But yeah, but yeah, I mean, 2-2 goals from Declan Rice and Trossard. I just feel that we were lucky. I said it in the last show. Our players, the most I give the points for was actually Declan Rice, and I believe it may have been, I think it was Saliba or something like that. I give him a 5 out of 10. The rest of the team, I give them all 4s. Everyone was 4. I thought we were poor. We were poor in everywhere. We were poor in defense, midfield, and attack, until it was only we come alive like the last 20 minutes of the game. That for me, in my opinion. And also, I don't want to talk about this goalkeeper, Rhea. Do you know what, Billy? I'm going to let you take this because this is your team, and the floor is yours, mate. The floor is yours.
I mean, yeah, discussing Chelsea point of view, I feel slightly disheartened from it. I felt very confident. Anthony will know this. I felt very confident going into this game. I don't know what it was. I felt like Chelsea were definitely going to be producing something from this match, and we did. We managed to get a point, but I say managed very lightheartedly when realistically we should have got the 3 points. Arsenal did what Arsenal do best, which is just have 100% resilience. That they do not accept defeat at the minute, and it's clear to see when they're undefeated so far. I think the only thing that Chelsea can take away from this is a positive outlook of we've done really well. Now we just need to focus on doing that for the whole 90. From our point of view, from an Arsenal point of view, I would be looking off the pitch and I'll be looking at Arteta. I think the selection was questionable from some players. I think potentially how he set up and how he set the team really wasn't what you lot needed against Chelsea. I think Arteta's definitely needs some questions after that game, but we'll discuss it in a minute. The Champions League game, clearly you got something right there. So yeah, from a Chelsea point of view, happy. It's a 50-50 with it. I'm happy because we've performed well against a big team, but I'm disappointed because we should have actually won the game. But it just shows the sort of level between the likes of Arsenal and the level between Chelsea. Chelsea clearly are not at the same level of Arsenal. Do you know what I mean? Chelsea, their best performance this season, last season, their best performance in a long while, and it's Arsenal's worst performance in a while, and yet we've come away with a point each. So that clearly says a lot about the level of each team.
So, obviously with you in this game, you're at home, it's in your stomping ground, you're 2-0 up, 2-2. So, Bill, this doesn't feel like a loss to you in one way?
Yeah, I'm slightly disheartened by it, but if I have to look at it realistically, it was always going to be a tough game against Arsenal. They're one of the toughest teams in the Premier League, unbeaten, like I said. So coming into that game, to mention the home ground, Stamford Bridge, it's not anything special unless you're in Europe. We've seen it in Europe, how good Stamford Bridge can be. But in the Premier League, when you're used to it 2 times a season or 1 time a season, you sort of get used to it. And I don't see we win as many away as we do at home. So there's not really a home advantage at Chelsea, in my opinion.
No. And it looks like you from the last lot of games you played, it's like Poch. He's actually found something now within your players. It's taken him a little while to obviously create the team, pick the players, put them in the positions, and play that certain formation. But how can you see yourself playing for the remainder of the season? I mean, do you feel obviously you're going to be you're going to be starting winning games, you're going to be picking up points maybe? Where do you think you finish at the end of this season, roughly?
If we carry on this form, definitely in a European spot. at the start of the season, we had a very good game, and we played a very good game against Liverpool and managed to get a draw. Potentially unlucky to not get the win there again, but we got our hopes up, and then we went and lost to everyone, Nottingham Forest and whatever. So it's false hope at the minute. We just need to see if it carries on. But if it does, I definitely see us getting at least top 8, if not even further up to top 6.
Yeah. Well, as long as you finish well, your aim is to finish above Man United in it at least. So, yeah. Marley, what is your thoughts on this game, mate?
Right. I don't think I'm going to be able to keep it short, but I get how you say that Arsenal got lucky because, yeah, Arsenal was absolute garbage for like a good 70, 75 minutes. I agree with, like, other than the Lens game, which, like, Arsenal was horrible in as well, this was definitely our worst performance. When you're talking more on the practical side, I feel like Chelsea was the lucky one just because of circumstances. Like, the PK was a PK, not trying to argue there, but most people agree that it's a stupid rule, right? Like, Saliba, he went to head the ball.
Yeah.
And, like, he had, like, by the rule, like, that should be a PK, but it's a stupid rule. Another stupid rule wasn't given Arsenal's way, like, it should be looking at, and it should be, they should have looked at it. But I'm not going to take a look at that too much because Arsenal was losing the game, so I have no guarantees that Arsenal would have made a better comeback if we scored back then. So I don't feel like the ref affected the game too much. But, like that Mudryk goal, even though he did claim that, like, yeah, like I said, like half a shot, half a pass, and yeah, magic happened. No, that was lucky. That was actually a bad cross that ended up being a goal because Raya is like doing horribly
I said the same.
for a while now. So, and Arsenal's 2 goals, like one came from a mistake, and the other one was just like an Arsenal goal, like Saka setting someone up. Like that's something we're used to seeing by now. But I agree with most of what Billy said. Like I wanted to poke fun of Chelsea just because the league is so good right now that if you don't pay attention, you could end up in 10th. It happened to us like 2 seasons in a row, actually. So like I could make a joke of like, Arsenal dropping 2 points in our chase for the title and Chelsea like gaining a point in their battle for relegation. But that's not the case. I do feel like Chelsea's probably going to finish like 7th or 8th. They have like, this is not only jokes. Like they literally spent $1 billion, like 30 players. At least 11 of them are going to turn out to be good. So like Chelsea does have a good future ahead. Pochettino's a good manager. He's also an exciting manager, which is not something I'm necessarily used to seeing linked with Chelsea. I feel like Chelsea's most successful seasons were more pragmatic. That's something Pochettino's like very different. Like he tends to play more attacking football. But the DNA that the Chelsea players have now kind of calls for that, like more young players that are going to be more attacking minded. So it makes sense. I do feel like the future is okay for Chelsea. From an Arsenal standpoint, yeah, like you talk like before the game, you asked me if I felt a draw was a good result. I'd say no, just because right now we are a lot better than Chelsea, like a lot better. But we were 2-0 down. So yeah, like it was good to show resilience and get the point at the end of the day. And it's definitely important to learn to get some points when you suck, right? Because if you only win, if you only get points when you're playing really well, like you're not gonna play well every single game. Like it's Man City doesn't do that. Pep's Barcelona didn't do that. So you gotta be able to be like just competent. And Arsenal was kind of that. All that being said, it did concern me even for the Sevilla game. Like Arsenal's been a little underwhelming. I feel like we're not really improving throughout the season as of yet, but we're still up there. So good.
Yeah, definitely. What I'm going to do now, I'm just going to hit the comments because there are a few comments in at the minute. So just going to nip to them as well. Right. So AFC always big up and welcome to the show. And thanks for tuning in, mate. It says Anthony in the panel. Big up to yourself, mate. We also have BX Gunner 81. Good evening, everyone. Good evening to you. Thanks for tuning in as well. AFC always says smash and like and subscribe if you haven't already. Yeah, make sure you do. Make sure you smash the like button, subscribe, even put in a comment. We'll always read your comments out as well. And don't forget, everybody keeps saying forget saying this. Press that notification bell as well. Press it. Also, BX Gunner 81 says Marty with the 89 banger. Yes. Do you know what? That was my I prefer that season to the Invincibles season, to be honest with you. But listen, how long I've been an Arsenal fan and watching them, I think pretty much every Arsenal, well, not every Arsenal fan, but every Arsenal fan that's been supporting them for a while, most of them do say they prefer the 89 season to the Invincible ones.
Just the way it was won at the very last game, right, against Liverpool away, like it's very. I mean, I was not alive back then. I'm much younger than Cousin, much younger than Anthony.
Well, not by a lot, not by a lot.
Much younger, but it was very impressive.
I'll be honest with you, 89, I was 10. I was born in 79. And I can remember the goal. Michael Thomas scored the winning goal at Anfield. We won 2-1, won the league. And then the season after, Liverpool bought him. Yeah, so that was that. King TV's in the house. Big up to you all. Big up King TV. In fact, for tuning in. Okay, we have Matt. Maury, I was right about the goalkeeper situation.
Mate, Ramsdale got here yesterday. Calm down. Like, people are so rushed to, like, get to conclusions nowadays. Like, the guy just got to Arsenal. It's not been a good start. Not whatsoever. I agree with that, but come on.
What did he say? Is he on about Raya? Is he on about Raya?
Yeah.
Saying what?
He's saying that, like, the atmosphere at Arsenal is, like, took a hit from this, like from the fact that you have two goalkeepers fighting for a position. One of them's not doing well. The other one's already unsatisfied. Ramsdale needs to be unsatisfied if he's not starting. Like, he's a good goalkeeper. He needs to fight for his place. And right now it is kind of confusing because, sure, Ray is good with his feet, but he's been a bad goalie since he got here. He really has. Yeah. And it's surprising. Like, it's I wasn't expecting this because he was never bad at Brentford. He was a good goalkeeper. He had better goalkeeping numbers than Ramsdale as well.
Yeah,
so getting him kind of tracks, but it hasn't worked so far.
No, I'll be honest with you. I prefer Ramsdale. Ramsdale between the sticks, I feel is more safer. I don't like this Reyes playing passing out from the back.
Give up on that, cuz 10 years from now, there's going to be no top team in football that doesn't do that. Like,
they should do. They should do.
It's
I've
not
got a question.
Well,
I've got a question for the panel.
Go on, Bill.
Would you rather have Raya or Onana in goal?
I'd rather have myself right now.
Yes.
But, out of the two, I feel like Onana did just save a PK, but he's added up more brain farts than Raya thus far. Raya's better protected though. Like, we have a good defense.
Yeah. Well, you said the magic word there, Marty. I think Raya is a fart, to be honest with you. Nah, not for me. I'm sorry, but I don't like that back passing. It'd be a miracle if he actually picks up the ball and literally just kicks it down the pitch, which is a safer option for me. Bill, just a quick one on this goalkeeping situation with Arsenal. Who would you rather pick in goal and why?
If I was going off of last season, I genuinely would have gone with Raya. I think Ramsdale did very well last season, but I also think that Saliba and Gabriel were probably the best centre-back partnership in the Premier League last season. So I think that definitely helped Ramsdale's case. Raya definitely faced more shots, so his stats were definitely going to be boosted also. But I think it still currently has to be Ramsdale. Ramsdale could break his arm and he would still be in a better position than Raya was. Mudryk, going back to that goal, I'm going to keep going back to that goal for the next decade, by the way. But Mudryk, that goal, yes, lucky. Did he mean it? But
Shot come across.
Raya's positioning was partly to blame for that goal also. So
Absolutely.
I definitely think that Raya needs to sort out his head and, I mean, everything to do with his game.
Yeah. No, it's definitely. I totally agree with you, Bill. You know, we've had this discussion on our last show, you know, on the Premier League weekend show, and I went a little bit on a rant there, didn't I? If I'm not mistaken.
You went on for like 10 minutes just saying how much you hate Raya.
Yeah, well, if nobody has seen that show, if you actually want to see me go on for about a 10-minute rant on Raya, you know, obviously you can always watch the show back. You know, feel free. It was a good show between me and Bill, myself. He was laughing, you know, but it was good. It was edging me on. It was giving me first, so I had to dig in more, Marley. I had to dig in more on Raya. I do apologise if anybody likes Raya, but you know, he's not for me. I think he's got. I think Ramsdale should be in goal. The only reason I think he's going to be in goal will be in the Carabao Cup against West Ham. I think that'd be the only game you most probably see Ramsdale featuring. But if he has a good game, I feel that he should play in the next league game. You know, just let them fight him out. If they play poor, you know, the next 2 or 3 games, drop them. Next one comes in, and vice versa. This is what this was literally what we was told about the goalkeeping situation, what would happen, and at the minute, it has happened. But I think Raya just needs to be dropped and say, look, Ramsdale, get in goal, and Raya might learn something. But then again, Raya was voted the 4th best goalkeeper in the Premier League last season. So, you know, but anyway,
yeah, I think it was 3rd. That's the thing. Like,
yeah,
a man just doesn't forget how to be a goalie because he's been solid for a while. Like, clearly his confidence is somewhere. Like, he's lost it for now. It kind of makes no sense, like the silly mistakes he's making. But the thing is, man, this is like I get the more traditional Arsenal fans. They're kind of like anti-progress, like hating on passing from the back, hating on inverted fullbacks. But it's kind of like the future of football, and if it's very easy for anyone to see. Like, you look at any team that's finding success, like the best goalkeeper in the 21st century by miles is Neuer. And like, that was the revolutionary part of, well, you know, he might disagree because Czech was dope as well. Like, we've had some dope goalkeepers, but I'd say Neuer is the best one in the 21st century. And he was the best goalkeeper in the world at passing the ball. Now, Ederson's probably one of the best goalkeepers in the world, even though there's a lot of goalkeepers that are just as good as he is at saving. But, you know, like, that brings so much. I don't know, man. I believe in the future, and we're gonna see some mistakes until it gels. That's the natural order of things.
it does. Sometimes that does happen, you know, and I get it. Bill, if you could you do me a favor? I don't know. I might be chatting on Morris' behalf here as well, but could you just ring up Chelsea Football Club and tell them that Arsenal don't want any more of their rejects? Seriously, you know.
Mate, we were laughing. Do you know what? It wasn't even like, even with the Jorginho deal and the Mount deal. Actually, no, not the Mount deal. Mount was just being a crybaby throwing his toys out the pram. But Havertz and that, mate, it's like, what, 300 grand we've got off our books, plus the 65 mil you paid for him. Like, it's happy days. Good luck trying to get rid of him, because we've been trying to for ages, and luckily you lot decided to come in with it.
Well, he's going to be playing against. Well, most part we'll be talking about that game, the next Premier League game this weekend. He might feature. God,
Anthony, I want to quickly jump in. I've got a pet peeve with this, and I'm going to come out and say it. So you think Neuer's the best keeper in the 21st century?
21st century, in my opinion, yeah.
I'm going with Casillas.
Casillas and Buffon are two very, very strong shouts as well, but I put mine on.
For me personally, I understand the Neuer shout, but I think Casillas has always been my number one. Czech, don't get me wrong, we're talking strictly Premier League. There's no one compares to him. But
I agree with that.
Worldwide, I definitely think Casillas had a bit more than Neuer. but now we're taking it completely off Arsenal. But
I have an anti-bias against Real Madrid. You know, like it's not because I dislike the club. Like I don't really care about Real Madrid. No, it's not like I don't have hatred towards Real Madrid. I just feel like usually their teams are so good that it kind of like I find it underwhelming when it comes to like individual performances because like Casillas was great, sure, like he never put a foot wrong, but he was always surrounded by Galacticos. So I don't know.
even in the national team, Spain he performed well for. Like,
He did.
He still had Ramos,
2010,
but
yeah.
he had Puyol and others in front of him.
Yeah.
No, he was great. Not gonna hate on you for preferring Casillas. I just like my preference would be Neuer, but Casillas was awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. All right, then. I'll tell you what. Let's go to the read through the comments, and then we'll go on to our next topic, and we'll just carry straight on from there. But I'm really enjoying this, by the way. AFC always he said, "I will not play Saka against Sheffield United. He looks burnt out and still looks like he's carrying on an injury." I think it does look like it's going to be that way, where he's going to get burnt out. I really do. Carrying an injury. Maybe. I think he's slightly getting over his injury, but how stubborn our manager is, even if it seems like your best player for me, which is Saka, but even if your best player is like, let's say if he's just 80% fit, Arteta will still put him in there, and he's like, don't risk it. I mean, we're going to struggle with it now if a certain player of ours is injured, so we don't know, but we'll come to that. He goes on to say, Eddie Nketiah, 30 games, 2 goals, pathetic. Worst striker in the league. Get down to League One. That's what I got to say on that.
Sorry, I'm jumping in on this. Even as a Chelsea fan, I love Eddie Nketiah. I think you lot are throwing so much disrespect to this man.
I agree with that.
Sorry. What?
Oh, you've muted him. That's so rude.
Sorry, I've muted you plenty of times. That's my trademark.
Last season against Manchester United, who stepped up? Nketiah.
Nketiah stepped up at the beginning part of this season, but now it's not good. He's not Arsenal material. We don't need a striker like that. We need a striker, and hopefully we sign one in January. Seriously. Everybody's saying about Ivan Toney. Bloody hell, you can get Ivan Toney in. Even Ollie Watkins might be a good shape from Aston Villa. I would like Alvarez from Man City, but I can't see that happening. But
why would they do that? Yeah.
Well, you never know.
You signed Zinchenko and Jesus, so it may not be from it.
It's the Nketiah thing. Like I've made my case very clear. Like I would love to upgrade on Nketiah, just like I would love to upgrade on any player. Like if we can get someone better, sure, great. But the disrespect on Nketiah is spectacular. Like he's not horrible. Like he's one of the best strikers in the league at attacking space. Like he's an annoying little bugger as well. Like he's very much so Gabriel Jesus backup, because he does what Jesus does like 80% of the way, and he has other traits that he's a nuisance. He's not horrible. He really isn't. Most teams in the Premier League don't have a striker like Eddie Nketiah sitting on the bench. Like he's a good shooter of the ball as well. Like he doesn't rush too much. Like he's okay. I'd love to upgrade on him, but he's not horrible. He's not the worst striker in the league. He'd be a starter for like half the teams.
Yeah. That's true. But AFC always say, well, he's saying now Martin Kersardi is non-existent. Yet again, against Sevilla, he had, what's that? He must be dropped. I would rather play, ESR instead of Odegaard against Sheffield United. Do you know what? I've got a little thing to say on this about Martin Odegaard. Don't get me wrong. He is a good player, but there's sometimes in the big games, he fades out for me. He sort of drifts off, and it's hard for him to get involved in the game. He's our captain, obviously, of the team. To me, I don't think he's captain material. I seriously, I really don't. There's only one guy in that, well, two guys, who I feel, or maybe three, that is captain material of this Arsenal team. And the first option I would give it to is Declan Rice. I really feel that he could be a really good captain in our team, better than Odegaard. The other one, I think maybe Saliba, or as Marty calls him, what's his name? Gabriel, but you call him, was it G-Mac?
G-Mag.
G-Mac, yeah, him. Or maybe, as you know, a Thomas Partey, if he's actually fit, in plays, if he's not injury prone.
Cousin, have you ever heard Thomas Partey's voice? He's so shy. You want him to be captain of the club?
Well, I've never really. I know he's a bit quiet, but I think, to be honest, well, I mean, you look at my first opinion. What was my first option?
Declan Rice.
Declan Rice. I think he's the perfect captain for that team.
He is a perfect captain for any team, but he just got here. I think he's going to be captain for England one day. For Arsenal, I think it's going to take like one or two players leaving, because it's tough to put him ahead of Odegaard or ahead of even Saka, mate. Saka's been Arsenal's best player for like 3 years now. He's been one of the best English players for a couple of seasons too. And if he stays at Arsenal for a long time, I could see him captaining the side as well. But Declan Rice is going to be a captain without the armband, so I'm not too worried about that. The recency bias that happens in football and within our fan base is redonkulous. Like, I get it. Odegaard's been bad. Like, he's going through the worst spell ever since he got here. That has a lot to do with the fact that he's been phenomenal since he got to Arsenal. Like, ever since he got to Arsenal, he's been named as one of the 3 best midfielders in the league, which is like best number 10s at least, like with Bruno and De Bruyne, which is like, that's something remarkable. He's much younger than these two. And I think he's been here for like just short of 3 years. The only big club he hasn't scored against is Liverpool. He scored more than once against Chelsea. He scored against United, I feel like, more than once as well. He scored in the North London Derby. I think he scored against City. I could be wrong in that one, but like, he's not someone that's always going to be shying away in big games. He had a crap game against Chelsea. That's true, but that was one game. And people just, I don't know, like, I don't get what happens with Arsenal fans. I really don't. Odegaard's been, like, ever since he got here, you're going to have a hard time naming players that were consistently better than Odegaard.
Yeah, no, like, I like him. He's a good player. Like, he does get goals, and he's up there with, like, with our top goal scorers. Because our top goal scorers at the minute, you've got to admit, well, last season was Saka, Martinelli, Odegaard, then followed by Jesus. So, so they're the top 4. But what I'm saying is, sometimes I've noticed in the top games, like the top teams are playing, he does sort of drift out, and he gets lost. And you're thinking, Odegaard, come on, you're. But then again, you think of this. Think of it this way: he's our team captain, right? Like, he's captain of the team. I have never known anyone, a captain of a team, to get subbed so many times. A captains a team and plays well, plays like, to their heart desires with a bit of passion and oomph. It's very rare you see a captain subbed, unless he gets injured or carrying an injury where they can't carry on, or they bring him off and they gives that armband to another guy that is also captain material. So, but who does Odegaard give that captaincy band to? Who's he give it to?
He gave it to Jorginho.
Exactly. That's not right. Another Chelsea reject. So I'm not having that. He's not captain material. Nor is Jorginho. If anything, I don't think Jorginho's been that great this season. I really don't. I don't think he's been fantastic. It's my opinion. But I don't think he is.
So I've got a mate of mine who I work with, and he's an Arsenal fan as well. And I went round his, and we watched the City game, Arsenal beat City, and we watched the Chelsea game. The City game, the only thing Odegaard did was find a bit of space and blast it over the bar for 90 minutes, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Even my mate was saying how frustrated he was getting with Odegaard. Every time Odegaard looked up, he was always, and I think it's partly to do with how he performed last season. He did very well at getting in them spaces, finding a bit of space and banging it and hitting it. And maybe it may be to do that. Maybe it's got into his head a little bit, and now he's trying it too much, or maybe there's a certain lack of communication between the front four, the Odegaard and the front three. Maybe I'm not sure what it is, but I think to say Odegaard should be dropped and Smith Rowe come in, I think is a bit harsh, because I still think Odegaard has the potential in any game to completely change it for you. And that is potentially why he still has the captaincy armband. If you're talking about players getting subbed off, Chelsea give their captaincy armband to an injury-prone right-back. Reece James, star boy to us, I adore him. But he is injured more times than I've had at dinners. So when we've given the captaincy armband to him, okay, who's the backup? Chilwell. Okay, he's injury-prone as well. Like, it's frustrating, the captaincy armband. But I do think that there's certain teams that they have their captains within the club, which means more, their personalities mean more than the armband. And I think Arsenal's one of them clubs where you've got a lot of personalities, strong personalities, Saka being one of them. He doesn't need an armband to know that he's someone you listen to when he talks to you, sort of thing. So I definitely think that you've got a team full of personalities that click well together, but there does need to be some mix around with the captaincy armband. I do disagree with Odegaard to a certain extent.
Yeah.
I don't get the whole, like, I think it's kind of rubbish to say that captains don't get subbed down. Now, Liverpool had Milner as their captain for a long time coming from the bench. Like, it's more like it's a squad role overall. Like, captains usually are older players as well, so they're gonna have less energy. They're not gonna play like 90 minutes. So I get it. Odegaard's he's not a classic captain. Like, you think of a captain, you usually think like a DM, a center back, like someone stronger. Exactly. You think that guy, like Arsenal's last captain, like, and he was a disgraceful captain because of what he did, like Xhaka. Like, that's what you're expecting to see in a captain, like someone vocal, someone that's kind of like a little hot-headed as well, but we don't have that kind of player at Arsenal right now, though.
No, we don't.
And one of the things with Odegaard, I don't disagree that he should be dropped for the Sheffield game, by the way, just because, like, it's an opportunity to rotate a bit, because you're playing it. It's literally the one easy game in the season right now, because Sheffield United are like that bad. The Premier League's an amazing league, but that's the one easy game you have. So it's an opportunity to, like, rotate, because we do have 4 players for one position, if you think about it. And Odegaard, Havertz, Vieira, and Smith Rowe. I love the fact that Smith Rowe's coming back to the team, by the way. I don't know what Vieira did wrong, because he was playing really well. He just, like, lost the minutes all out of blue. But I just feel like Odegaard, like, for 2 seasons, he knew exactly who he was playing against and who he was playing with. And now Arsenal's come to that stage where you're not exactly sure where the starting lineup is. And I know he just, like, it was our first game with our attacking trio against, I think it was against Sevilla and Chelsea. But the midfield, like, he was used to always playing with Partey and Xhaka. Now he's like, it's Rice and Havertz, then it's Rice and Jorginho. I think he needs to get used to the system as well, because it's changing a little bit. And he's been really consistent for a long time. Like, it's natural he's going to get a dip every now and then. Yeah. I'm not too desperate about the whole Odegaard situation. I think he's going to get back to it.
Well, I hope he does, but, it's rather sooner than quicker. But to me, a captain's the one that takes the lead and has the command of the team. I don't really see Odegaard do that. But listen, I think he will. It might take time. I'm not saying people's going to change overnight, that sort of thing. But it's just, I just like to see that bit of passion. That's all it is, really. But I'm going to get back to the comments, because they are flying in. They're flying in. he says the way we're performing and getting results is very similar to Conte before he got sacked, and he means at Tottenham.
What?
I-
How?
Listen, it's his opinion. It's his opinion.
No, but I would like to get the
AFC.
explanation. Like,
Yeah,
Well,
AFC, please comment why.
I'm
comment
curious.
why, and I'll always bring his comment up, and I'll always read it out. And if he's got a point, I would say he's got a point. But it's his opinion. I would be surprised if Ramsdale leaves in January or next summer. Well, he wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't either, and I wouldn't want that. Ramsdale would only play in the Carabao Cup games. Yes.
Sorry, just quickly. Do you think it's a Spanish thing between Raya and Arteta?
Yeah, I do. I think it is.
No,
I think that's my opinion. No, seriously, no, I did. I'm not being biased or anything like that. I really think there is I don't know. I see when you watch it on other streams, you've got people saying Ramsdale was the keeper that we needed last season. Don't get me wrong; he did really well. He got us second. He helped us get second. He started getting poor towards the end of last season. But you look at it, with Saliba being out injured, that didn't help. Zinchenko playing the inverted system, which left Gabriel and Saliba drifting over to the left, and Thomas Partey from DM coming back into centre back. That didn't help. You've got three players out of position there already, due to one certain player that plays the inverted system and struggles to get back. I see it on games. If I see it, I call it. And that is it. And that is what I'm calling. And that is the reason why he's been dropped. He's been dropped, and it hasn't helped Ramsdale. I do admit it hasn't. Raya's come in. He played good in his first game, and then after that, I mean, the Champions. What game was it? The Tottenham game. We were very lucky because he threw the ball out to your player, and he almost scored. I forgot the name of the player. Bill, who was that?
Cole Palmer.
Palmer, yeah. He did exactly the same in the Champions League game against Lons, and we lost 2-1, right? And also he did it. He's done it as well in another game as well. So that's three.
City.
Yeah, Man City. Yeah, Man City. They had a chat? They could have went 3-0 up in the first 25 minutes of the game, Man City, and it was just that the throwing it out like that. Just kick the ball at the pitch. Just kick it. I didn't care. I didn't care what. Just kick the bloody thing. If not, drop him. Because I'll tell you something. He's been very lucky in these last 3 games where he's thrown the ball out to the other players, the opposition, and they haven't scored from that yet. But they soon will. He will. If he carries on, he'll be caught out. Seriously.
It's Ray has been bad, but he's not there because he's Spanish. Actually, if you think about it, Arteta has shipped out every single Spanish speaker that we've had at Arsenal since he got here.
Yeah.
Every single one. Ceballos, Torreira, Mari, sure, they're all crap. But still, all the Spanish-speaking players that passed by Arteta's hands was sent away. So I don't think it has a lot to do with that. But he's very much so a slave to his own beliefs. And most top managers are. Then again, Pep's ruined the careers of many amazing players, or at least tried. It happens. So he wants someone that's good with his feet. Raya is better than Ramsdale with the ball in his feet. That's simple as. And it might take a while to gel. I hope Ramsdale's not that shoved to the side. I hope he's not. I hope he plays more than just Carabao Cup games. But against Fulham, we drew that game because Ramsdale made a very stupid pass right in the beginning of the game, and Andreas Pereira scored. It's something that, if you're going to be playing with the ball in his feet, you might as well have the better keeper there in doing that. So, I don't know. And it's natural that Ramsdale, it was never a long-term thing. We never thought we were going to have these 2 keepers for years to come. It was always going to be whoever doesn't start leaves by the end of the season. That's what everyone assumed anyway.
Okay. No. That's fair enough, guys. That's you've spoken. You've spoken some facts there, maybe
I only
2%.
speak facts. Man.
But you spoken well there. But I just feel it's just a preference thing, and I feel to me I feel more safe if Ramsdale was in goal. Anyway, back to comments. Tutu Hammer, big up to yourself, mate. I don't think I've ever seen you in this chat, but if welcome along, mate, and hope you enjoy the show.
Yeah.
Football United TV, 16 subs away from 900. Almost there, peeps. Thanks for the support. Yes, people, thanks for the support. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, make sure you subscribe. Let's get to this 900. This is what me, Marley, and also Matt wants. Let's get to the 900, and then we can work from there gradually up to the 1K. And then he sees Tutu Hammer, welcome. Yep, that's that one. Also, Anthony, Arsenal winning the league in '89 was my all-time favorite. Yeah, same here, mate. Same here. See, now he's chatting from experience. This guy. Yeah, I was 12 in '89. Wow, he's 2 years older than me. So we know our stuff. Then we know our stuff. AFC always. Anthony Ramsdale's conceded the most goals and errors from last season. Yes, he did. He did, mate. Yeah. You're absolutely right. It says reports coming out that Juventus will try for Thomas Partey in January. See, now I read this, and listen, if he goes, he goes. But I mean, the problem that I have with Thomas Partey, don't get me wrong, he's a good player, but he's coming on to now like he's injury prone. Do you reckon that, Marty? He's getting too much injury prone.
Yeah. Like you take a look at the players that have been at Arsenal since he got here, like the top players like Saka, Martinelli, they played like at least 1/3 more than Partey, like minute wise. Like he's missing too many games. He's got like other problematic stuff that we like just don't know about. That like we have no idea what happens there, and it's if we get good money for Partey, mate, like I'm gonna be so happy. I hope we bring someone to replace him, but I would love to move on from Partey.
Yeah, I would love to move on from Partey as well. I mean, one of the players that I would love for a bargain price, obviously left Brighton and went to Liverpool, World Cup winner, which was McAllister. I think he's a pretty good DM for that price.
I think he's a pretty good CM, mate. I think they're testing him as a DM, and it's not working out at Liverpool, in my opinion, at least.
Mate, I think McAllister is so overrated.
He is a bit. He is a bit like.
Sorry, just quickly. Yes, 35 million still for a World Cup.
Sure.
Did he perform in the World Cup? Yes. Was he spoken about enough during the World Cup? Potentially no. But I think, like every other Brighton player, they are scam artists. They are absolute scam artists, Brighton Football Club, right? They make players. Well, look at it. Look at the history of it. Cucurella. Oh, Man City wanted him. Oh, he comes to Chelsea. Oh, he's awful. Basuma. He's only just come good after a decade before signing for them, right? Then you've got like any other Brighton. Potter, even their manager can't even manage a different club. Like it is such like they are such a catfish club.
Mopai.
Literally, name any Brighton player, right? They just like apart from Ben White, the only one I can think of is Ben White, and even he's not the player that he left Brighton because he's playing right back, so he's not even the centre back that Brighton used him for.
Oh, have you seen that about Ben White? Obviously with the colour of his hair, I think he's dyed it sort of grey, hasn't he? And he's got like this fake tan on, sort of thing. They're calling him what's that woman's name from Benidorm? Is it Madge or something like that? I seen it on there and I laughed. They were corresponding that him from Madge from Benidorm. I was like, bloody hell.
Mate, Benny Blanco is stunning. I don't know what anyone can say about that man. Like, he's a gorgeous dude.
Mate, he just looks like he's just come off Love Island. He don't look like a
yeah, he looks like a TV personality.
And cuz, Billy, tell us your little story about Ben White at Brighton with yourself.
Oh yeah, so I was actually studying at a college in Brighton for like at Brighton Football Club. They were running a college course, and I played football for them, college sort of thing. And then some of us got lucky enough to go and train with the under-21s, and Ben White was actually one of them. Like, it was years ago. I'm 22 now. I was like 16, 17 when it was. But yeah, no, he was actually a part of the under-21s team that I trained with, which is pretty cool.
That's dope. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And there's actually a picture of his on his WhatsApp, on his profile picture. And when I seen him holding his trophies like that, I thought, bloody hell, you did look a bit like Ben White, actually. You know, I'm not going to be. But yeah, back to the comments. Like Matt's obviously he's put Mudryk equals Hadji's goal in the USA '94 World Cup. Now I tell you what, yes, it does, and that I can actually remember the goal. I can actually remember the goal. And then Matt goes on to say, Arteta out, Anthony in. Yeah, well, I'll take it, mate. I'll take it. I'll take it for half of his wages, and we'll improve. I don't know who I'll have as number two. He's of late. Me and Maury, we're like, we're like, we're not agreeing on things at the minute. So Maury can't be me number two. No, I might have him as doing the line, like being a lot, picking out the lines on the pitch.
That's a shame, because when I think of number two, I definitely think of you. So it's.
Oh, thanks, mate. Yeah, yeah, he's lying that same shit, doesn't it? Question, right? This is to you two, and for us three. Question: which flute goal was the best? Hadji in the World Cup of '94, Ronaldinho in 2002, or Mudryk in 2023? Right, because you're going this, Molly. Right, I'm going to come to you. Which one's yours?
Ronaldinho, mate. That goal was gorgeous. That, like, he might have meant it. He might have meant it. It was Ronaldinho. It wasn't Mudryk, so he might have meant it.
Right.
That was nice. And 2002, like it's very beginning of my football memories. So it's very close to my heart, that goal.
Bloody hell, that was the year my daughter was born. Bill, what's your favorite? Which is your favorite one? Well, your flute goal. What was your favorite flute goal?
He was not born for one. He was one for the other one.
There's only one that I've seen.
Yeah.
the Hadji '94, I wasn't even thought about. Ronaldinho, I was 1 year old. I was still breastfeeding. Do you know what I mean? So like the only one that I've seen is.
But yeah, no, I can. Yeah, with me, AFC always. Mine was Hadji '94 in the World Cup. That was my favorite.
Can I say one of my favorite funny goals? Right, is Chicharito Hernandez for Man United when he goes to kick it and it bounces off his face and goes in. Do you remember? That's probably one of my favorite goals that I've enjoyed. Does that class as a fluke? Because he meant to score.
Yeah. Yeah, he could have. He sees poll results above. I think they might be doing a poll on this flute goal. Van der Sar people, and then Matt goes on to say at AFC always Hadji, in my opinion. See, even Matt knows. Yeah. Matt knows. He even remembers the goal, obviously, because he was the one that put the comment in. But don't get fooled by him. He's older. He's older than what he looks. Hi, Matt, by the way. A lot of top managers and ex-players rate Eddie Nketiah. Oh, no. King TV, well, thank you for your comment and welcome to the show. And I hope you're enjoying it. But, well, if they do, I don't know who these managers are. Or is Jose Mourinho one of them, maybe? I don't know. I really don't know.
Mourinho would love Nketiah.
Is it?
So his style. Mourinho. He would love him. He would love him.
Yeah, Eddie Nketiah earns $400,000 a month. Well, I tell you what, I ain't being funny. That's 395 grand a month too much in my eyes.
Well, you are paying every penny's worth with Eddie Nketiah.
No, we're not. We're not.
No other player in the world would have scored that goal against United last season.
Right.
Only Eddie could have done that.
And AFC always he goes on and says exactly the same as what I said. He said, I've never seen a captain at Arsenal get substituted like Odegaard has. Yeah, this is true. And last but not least, Anthony is spot on that Odegaard is not captain material. Thank you, mate. Thank you. Yeah, that.
I can't remember. You two are clearly going to have better memory than I am on this, but was Koscielny your captain at one point?
Koscielny was our captain at one point. Yeah. Yes.
I don't think he was ever like club captain, like that, but he wore the armband multiple times. Yeah.
Because I could have sworn you went through some I remember you went through some dodgy centre backs, but Koscielny was always like a consistent one for you that was actually all right. You went through like Mertesacker, Mustafi. You had like absolute stick, but you always had Koscielny there to back up on it.
I feel bad for Mertesacker because he wasn't a bad defender. It's just the fact that I'm going to use video game as a reference. Like he had a speed of 22. He was so slow. Like just because he was a slow human being, he was not an athletic person, but he wasn't a bad defender. Plus, he was 2 meters tall. He was useful. If he was fast, he would have been one of the best defenders we've had in that really bad 20 years or so that we've been having.
So would you take Mertesacker over Gabriel or Saliba?
No. Nowhere near.
Nowhere near. No.
The last defender we've had that would come into that conversation, I feel like before he started getting injury left and right, would be Vermaelen. And before that, Campbell and these guys, because we have a solid partnership now.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, it's a good partnership we got there. And to be honest with you, when we played against Man City, Haaland was it. Well, put it this way: if our shorts had pockets in, if both Saliba and Gabriel put their hands in their pocket, they would have pulled out Haaland. They were in his pocket. I'm sorry, I got to say it.
Wait until Haaland scores a hat trick on the next
game. Don't clip it. Right, we're going to go on to our next topic. Bloody hell, time's flying by. 57 minutes. We're only on our second topic. Right, Sevilla 1, Arsenal 2. Champions League game. In all fairness, a good win. Not a bad win for Arsenal. I am going to say this. Sevilla for me, they do. To me, they're a team that didn't really do great in the Champions League. They're the sort of team that sort of in the Champions League dips out and then goes on to win the Europa League. But that's it. But we had a good result. All I'm going to say is Martinelli's goal, first goal for Arsenal just before half-time. That was a good goal, really good goal. Jesus' goal, what a goal that was! That was seriously nothing to describe. That was the best goal he had scored this season, obviously, but enough of me. Maury, I just want to get your opinions on this game, and then I'm going to come to Billy.
Yeah. Well, I don't feel like it was a great game at all. It was much better than Chelsea, than our performance against Chelsea, but it wasn't too good either. Sevilla was actually looking better than us when we scored. They were giving us more difficulty, and Gabriel Jesus was brilliant the way he cut. He just killed 2 players from the play, and you give Martinelli space. That kid is he's been our best attacker this season, and I feel like people don't notice that because Martinelli's the one player in the squad that even if he sucks, he's gonna make something happen, just because he relies so much on spirit and just fight and athleticism. He's so fast. You just can't stop him all the time. You're going to die if you try to. So Martinelli's been phenomenal, man. I love that kid.
Yeah.
But Gabriel Jesus, he just showed he was probably man of the match, just because if it wasn't for him, we probably would have lost that game. It just goes to show a lot of Arsenal fans want to upgrade on Gabriel Jesus, and I just feel like truly upgrading on him is impossible. You can change the way you play. You can get a striker that's going to score more goals, but it wouldn't be an upgrade on Gabriel Jesus because at what he does, there's no one like him. Like
No.
he's the best. Like he's the best attacker when it comes to like being very participative and being very present when it comes to defending as well. He's just like you can tell the defenders hate playing against him because he's a nuisance. He's going to give you a hard time. He's not going to give you like too much time to think about the pass you're going to be making. Gabriel Jesus, like at what he does, he's the best. He's the very best. So sure, like maybe getting a more proved goal scorer instead of Nketiah, sure, there's arguments for that, but I unlike most Arsenal fans, I'm not looking for someone to replace Nketiah Jesus, because I just feel like for the way we play, like we miss him so much when he gets injured, and
Yeah.
we're kind of afraid that's going to be happening again. I hope that it's only like 2 or 3 weeks, but when he doesn't play, mate, Nketiah does a job, but it's not the same thing. Gabriel Jesus is really, really good. And that was
Yeah.
one of those unplayable games. Like he had 3 goals in 3 games in the Champions League thus far.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
he's I think he might already be, but if he's not, like he's on track to be the highest scoring Brazilian in the Champions League history, which is kind of, like that's kind of disrespectful to all the great Brazilians that have played in that competition, but still, you got to big him up for that.
Oh, definitely. Bill, what's your thoughts on this game? Just carry on talking. There's somebody at my door and nobody's answering, so I'm just going to answer my front door, see what they want. But just keep going. All right.
If I'm honest, I was a bit concerned for Arsenal going into this. Obviously, didn't play that well against, what was it, Lens or Lorient? I know it was one of them in the French league.
Yes.
And I thought, Sevilla's a tougher opponent. That they won Europa. They may be trying to push for Champions League, but fair play to, I say Arsenal. Fair play to Jesus. I think if you take Jesus out of that game, it's a 1-0 Sevilla game sort of thing. I think Martinelli did well, but I don't know what it is with I don't see it with Martinelli as much as it may be my bias coming into it a little bit, but Martinelli he looks awkward to me. Like he just doesn't, like he looks like he wants to do something, but he just doesn't know how to do it properly. If you know what I mean, like he looks like he wants to dribble, cut in, and attack, but then he runs down the wing, and I'm like, but I thought you wanted to cut in. Like he just looks like an awkward footballer sometimes. He is brilliant.
No, aesthetically, I know exactly where you're coming from, and yeah, like every now and then, it looks like he doesn't think as fast as his legs move.
Yeah.
So he looks a little clumsy every now and then. But that's the thing. Even when, like, I don't remember against who it was. It was like one of the first 2 or 3 games of the season. He tried to do that kind of like Zidane dribble, where like roll around with that. It ended up being an assist. He wanted to dribble and shoot, 100%.
Yeah.
But it worked. Like he's gonna try something, and just like there aren't a lot of wingers or fullbacks that are as fast and as strong as he is. So he does have that advantage when playing against most guys. Like he's someone that physically he's going to give you a harder time than Saka.
Yeah, I think. Well, I mean, whatever Malo Gusto did, Martinelli weren't having none of it, was he? But I think. Other than that, I think Jesus, like I said, with that Jesus, you're looking at a potential draw or loss. Martinelli as well. I think when I saw Tomiyasu in your lineup also, because in my opinion, when he came on against Chelsea, he looked so lazy. Like he didn't want to win the ball. He just kept fouling players for the last like 20 minutes that he came on for. Like he didn't want to. He wanted to hug him more than he wanted to get the ball. But no, he did well against Sevilla. I think if you're going to use Zinchenko, in my opinion, you use him in that number 8 role that you've got available, because I don't think you've filled it yet. Declan Rice should be your number 6. You should have Odegaard in the number 10, and you still need that number 8. Jorginho ain't it. Thomas Partey ain't it. And I could see Zinchenko doing very well in that position.
Yeah.
Zinchenko, like from the players we have in our squad, he's the most obvious upgrade to Granit Xhaka, right? Like he left-footed, very technical. He's got great passing, great dribbling as well. And the Tomiyasu thing only goes to show how much of a slave to his preferences Arteta is, because Tomiyasu now is beginning to play as an inverted left back as well, because that's how he wants to play. If Ben White is the right back, you're gonna have an inverted left back. It's just like point period. That's why I'm assuming Timber is gonna be your starting left back for a couple years to come now, once he comes back from injury. If he just plays the way he was playing before, or how he was playing at Ajax before, I feel like that's what's gonna happen, because he's almost as good as Zinchenko, but he's a much better defender. The reason
Definitely.
why Arsenal spent Chelsea money on Declan Rice was to protect Zinchenko. Like, I can't get that out of my head, because Declan Rice is amazing at a lot of things, but recovery is his best trait. And like, he's gonna save Zinchenko's butt a lot of times this season. I can just see it. He has already a couple of times. But if Tomiyasu learns, Tomiyasu fouls a lot. I get frustrated with him. He fouls a
Yeah.
lot. I agree with you. Like, every now and then, it feels like he can just try to tackle without conceding a foul, but he always fouls the player.
Yeah, I
But
think
and
I do agree with what you said, because about Timber. What you
yeah,
just said about Timber, I totally agree with you on that one, 100%. You know, I mean, I know there's 10 this weekend. There'll be 10 games gone into the season, and this is the first time I've agreed with you this season. You know, it's taken 10 long weeks for Marty to actually come out and talk some sense to me, you know, and brilliantly, you know, because big up to that. I totally agree with you what you said about Timber. Fair play to you.
thank you, thank
That's
you.
okay. That's okay. Time's moving on, lads. I'm just going to quickly nip into the next topic. I do apologise about this, but time is going on. Well, obviously we just heard the news. Jesus is out for injury, and how long? He's went to I think he went to the hospital today. He had a local scan. The results are not back in until tomorrow. Do you know what? I I really hope he's not out for long. But rumours are saying it's the old injury that's come back of what he had in the World Cup. Me and Marty was discussing a little bit of this before we went live. Um, Billy, I'm going to come to you on this one. Injury is a major blow to Arsenal, but I hope it's not for long. What's your thoughts on this, mate?
Speaking from experience with injured players, I think if this continues and it naggles and it niggles at him and it continuously keeps coming back to Jesus, you are going to have to look at a new striker very soon.
Yeah.
If he's out for another, say, 2 to 4 months or 4 to 6 months, then you need to think. Then Arteta needs to seriously sit down and go, right, we need a striker now, because yes, Jesus is class, and you could still keep Jesus, but maybe in the cup games and the Champions League games and stuff, he'd be better accustomed to, rather than week in, week out, physically strong Premier League games. It's a shame for you guys, because like last game, Jesus was cooking. Jesus was absolutely cooking. But I think now is the time to have a serious sit down and think, should we be looking at someone else? My nominations, off the top of my head, if I'm thinking, I think Tammy Abraham. I love him. If he went to Arsenal, it would absolutely kill me. Anthony, you've spoken about how much you've seen him before and how much you like him.
Yeah.
I think he could not only offer something technical, but he offers that physically strong vocal point in the middle of the pitch, that when Saka or Martinelli cuts in and dinks it at the back post, Abraham's there and he bags it every time. So that would be my nomination, and I'd do it sooner rather than later, come January, depending if it's obviously bad. If it's not that bad, then you need to monitor it. But Anthony, I'm sorry to say, you're going to be seeing Nketiah a hell of a lot more.
You just sucked the life and soul out of me now. God, I didn't know how I'm going to do this stream. Seriously, this let's wrap up. Right, Marty, go on then, mate.
I mean, I have no idea how long the injury is going to be for. He seemed to be walking okay when he left the field, so I'm assuming it's not that long. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to be optimistic and think that he's going to miss like at the most like 3 to 4 weeks, which is already a huge blow for us, by the way. But I don't know. Like I get that like it'd be really good to get another striker. It's complicated because I do feel like if he's fit, Jesus is going to start over like most players that we'd bring in. Because if you're talking about someone that's like clearly going to replace Jesus, you're talking about the likes of monsters, right? Like Osimhen or something like that. Arsenal doesn't usually go for this brand of players. I think, well, you're going to agree with me for the second time, because I feel like the best replacement for Jesus, like the top striker that has the tools to be almost as good as Jesus in his best traits, but
Go on,
then
hit me with it.
overperform him in a couple of capacities, like shooting, would be Lautaro Martinez from Inter Milan. He's someone he's someone that if he came in to replace Jesus or to offer him competition, I'd be like, yeah, that's okay. I feel like that's going to be an upgrade.
Yeah.
But other than that, I struggle. I struggle because literally, this is not like I'm not comparing the players. One is much better than the other. But if you put Haaland in Arsenal's team, I feel like it wouldn't work as well as Gabriel Jesus.
No,
I truly feel that way. I truly feel like it wouldn't. So you gotta look at the style. I feel like people keep mentioning Tony, keep mentioning Watkins. I don't see it.
I've just thought of a couple names that might fit. João-Felix. I think he proved it at Chelsea, and also Griezmann as well. But Griezmann's definitely going to be a bit more of an expensive buy.
And he's a lot older as well. João-Felix kind of makes sense. I wasn't too big of a fan of his when he was at Chelsea, and like I feel like he never reached the hype because he was Atletico's most expensive acquisition ever, right? I feel like he never quite reached that point. But he's someone else. It depends on what you want to do. If you're looking for someone to actually take Gabriel Jesus' place, I would try to look for a similar player. But if you're looking for someone to offer something else, I'd look for a taller striker. Like Abraham's probably the best name I've heard or read today. He scores a lot of goals. He's tall. He'd be a good alternative.
Yeah. But then again, you look at this with Jesus out. I'm just going to read out some stuff here. Right. If he's out this weekend against Sheffield United, we feel that's not a major blow, because you look at it, Sheffield United and Bournemouth are the only two teams in the Premier League that hasn't won one game this season. Right. Yeah. So that's the Sheffield United game. After that, on the Wednesday, the 1st of November, is the Carabao Cup away to West Ham. So okay, that's fine. The problem is the Saturday after that, which is the 4th of November, right? Arsenal are away to Newcastle.
It's a tough
right? Game. Because I'm looking at the fixtures now. I've got it all here on my phone, right? And then after Newcastle is the we got to play Sevilla again in the Champions League, followed by Burnley and then Brentford. And then the next, November, we got Lens in the Champions League. So that's what it takes. That's pretty much there.
So that's Arsenal can't afford to lose Jesus for that time, actually.
Yeah. So basically,
it's not ideal, but we're going to be okay.
You're talking what? You're talking there for 4.5 weeks. Maybe almost 5 weeks, but that is the game that I'm really worried about. If Jesus is not playing, is away to Newcastle. That is one of the games up there that I'm pretty much worried about. But it's like what Marty said: if we can play Martinelli up front and then replace him. Sorry, no, sorry. No, but do you think? Sorry, no, I was going to edit myself. Do you think Martinelli could play up front if Jesus is? I know we're going to see it most probably a lot of Eddie Nketiah, but would you rather just bring Trossard in onto that wing into Martinelli's position and then bring Martinelli up front?
Nah.
Martinelli as a striker is a myth that Arsenal fans created. Like, he's been here for a long time. He's maybe played there once or twice, and he's not a striker. He's not a striker. He really isn't. He's a winger.
I know.
He's a winger. He's a really good winger.
But just bear with me a sec, folk, because we got another guest in. He's an Arsenal player, and he's here.
Big up,
Arsenal
man.
player.
It's Fabio Vieira. Luca.
Big up,
How you
man.
doing?
Big up, guys, man. Sorry I was late, man. Yeah. Yeah. How's everyone, man?
No, not too bad, Luca. And yourself?
Yeah, I'm good.
Good.
Been a while,
Mate.
man.
Right, we're just talking about Jesus, obviously, with the injury, Luca. Obviously he went in and had the scan today. Apparently, we're not going to find out results until sometime tomorrow, depending on how the injury is. You know, I've gone through the list of games that he could most probably miss, depending on how bad the injury is. We got Sheffield United this weekend.
Yeah.
Obviously, with him, that's not too bad. West Ham in the Carabao Cup, but the game after the Carabao Cup is Newcastle away.
Newcastle. Wow.
Yeah.
The
Newcastle
thing is,
without Tonali, right? Like, he's getting a ban.
He's out for a year, isn't he? He's like 10-month ban.
Yeah,
10 months.
I feel bad for Newcastle. I mean, not really, because like, screw them. But it's like their most expensive player, and they're actually being quite sensible in the way they do business. But there you go, very unlucky.
Yeah, but it is what it is. I'm gonna hit a few comments because they're coming in. Sorry, Luke, I will come back to you. You know, it says what I meant by that: Arsenal are performing and grinding out results, playing poorly in games like what Conte was doing, which led him getting the sack. If you know what I mean, we all know what you mean. DWTT is in the house. Big up to you. Thanks for tuning in. Eddie doesn't press. Odegaard's consistently asking him to press. Eddie just jogs around. Yeah, I see that. Jesus provided 2 moments of brilliant. Yes, he has. And then DWTT goes on and goes, Martinelli gives defenders nightmares. Ash Trent. Yeah.
Ask Malo Gusto. Does he
you're
look
asking-
like Nez? No.
If you want to ask defenders, why would you ask Trent? Like, he's never a defender in his life.
Yeah. And then AFC says, Anthony, Rea is the 7th goalkeeper to play under Arteta. I didn't know it was that many, but yeah, if he is, he is. I'll definitely take your word for it, mate. I'll definitely take your word for it. Tommy Yasu played very well against Sevilla. I never wanted to see Shevchenko play on the left ever again. There is a lot of people giving Zinni a lot of stick for that. DWTT goes on and says Timber and now Tommy Yasu look a better left back than Zinc. Yeah. I totally agree. Just don't like that inverted. So vote so far, Raya or Ramsdale. Raya is 40% and Ramsdale is 60%. See, we know what we're on about. We want Ramsdale in goal. Well,
Who voted for Raya?
I reckon you voted in this poll, Bill. I haven't. Did you?
I voted Ramsdale because I'm not clueless.
Oh, good. Yeah, you come on this show every week now. Yeah. Goalkeeper, Arteta just pick one. Move back and forth, please. Yeah, I totally agree with that. Injury prone, Jesus. Yeah, Matt saying, yeah, I think he is going to be injury prone as well. Then AFC always goes on and says we must sign Ivan Toney and Neto in January. I do like Neto from Wolves. I do believe good. I do rate him. I take both, but FFP. Well, it's true.
I'm a Chelsea fan. I don't know what FFP means.
Yeah, someone explain what FFP is to the Chelsea fan.
Yeah,
he probably doesn't know.
In the comments, just Google it and just breathe it in for Bill. You can pass it on. Ollie Watkins over and Eddie Nketiah any day, exactly. And then here we come with who's that? Who wrote that? Oh, Fabio Vieira. Can I come on? Of course you can, Luca. You're already on, mate. Looking like Fabio every day more I see you.
He does. He truly does.
I'll come back to you, Luca. I just want to get through these comments. We're going to talk about the Sheffield United game after, and obviously, we'll most probably do a score predictions as well, and that'll be the end of the show. Arteta will not be sacked. He will be doing a great David. I'm walking away, but even said hang on. He even said last season he was close to quitting. He did say that as well. Arteta said Martinelli was practicing as a 9, not fans. And then obviously AFC always goes send Luca back to Fox from prison break. I don't know what does he mean by that, Luca.
You tell me. I don't know what he means by that.
I don't know what he means by that. In 6, and obviously 6 votes are in. So what we're going to do now is bring up our next topic is Arsenal versus Sheffield United game. Basically, yeah, Arsenal versus Sheffield United this weekend. What we expected in this game. Do you know what, Luca? Because you've just come on, I'm going to come to you. What do you think is going to happen in this game? And also, would you put Ramsdale in goal over Raya in this game?
Right, first things first. For me, about Ramsdale and David Raya. See, this is the thing. I mentioned this on my channel the other day when I last did a video last, and I literally said, look, don't get me wrong. I like David Raya, don't get me wrong, because quite frankly, when he first came into that Everton game, I started to be a fan's favourite of David Raya because of his commanding on the ball. He looked very comfortable. And then since Man City, he's now suddenly completely lost confidence in himself. He's doing all these silly little mistakes. But our fan base were clapping Ramsdale's chant the other day against Chelsea, where the same fan base clearly wanted Raya to play. But I like Aaron Ramsdale, don't get me wrong, because what I like about Aaron Ramsdale is, and I prefer Ramsdale, okay, yes, he made a lot of bit of a mistakes towards the end of last season. World-class keepers are going to make mistakes.
Yeah.
Like, you can name the best keeper in the world right now that can still make mistakes. And what I like about Ramsdale, he has connection to the fans. He's one of those, he loves Arsenal, don't get me wrong. And all this little Chelsea talk that, people are saying, Ramsdale's not happy in that. I don't think he ain't going to go Chelsea. Because half of their fan base don't want Aaron Ramsdale at the football club. And yes, he might be a better goalkeeper than the Chelsea keeper Sanchez, because I personally don't rate Sanchez, don't get me wrong. But would Chelsea take Aaron Ramsdale right now? Probably, yeah, because he's probably the best what they've got. And he's an English goalkeeper, and he'll probably suit Chelsea's style of play with the likes of Thiago Silva at the back. And I know Chelsea's defence hasn't been that great, but if they get players like Ramsdale coming in, they can have a good spine at the back with Thiago Silva and a goalkeeper like Ramsdale. And I want to keep Ramsdale because I don't want to go through this same situation when Martinez left the football club. We had Bern Leno, and I remember, when I first started my own channel, I think I said when we first signed Ramsdale that I wanted Onana at the football club, and I am so lucky we did not get Onana at the football club because the guy's not good enough. And Man United now want David De Gea back at the football club after 3 months he left. So it's like a re-sign again. So I just feel with Arteta, I think he needs to go back to basics like he did with the defence against Man United. And I feel with Ramsdale, he has to start, okay? And he has to be our number one goalkeeper. And I will start him against Sheffield. Look, maybe you start that, not to disrespect Sheffield United, and I know I shouldn't really take the mick out of Sheffield United because anything can happen in the Premier League. Who expected Luton to get one win this season against Everton away from home? And Everton are now going to be deducted 12 points. So I expect Arsenal to win the game. And my starting lineup, what I would go for, I'd probably go with Raya in this game, but we have Newcastle next weekend. And I don't trust David Raya against Newcastle away because if Bruno Guimaraes is one booking away from getting a one-match ban. So if he gets booked on the weekend against Wolves, he misses the Arsenal game. And that could be a massive boost for us because Guimaraes, for me, gives so much creativity for Newcastle, and they would
Is
want to bounce
Newcastle
back.
out of the Carabao Cup already? Because if not,
not
I think
sure.
that's because if they play in the Carabao Cup, that's where he's going to be suspended for.
Are they out? Are they out?
I have no idea actually.
I have no idea. So I think they got. I think they got Man United. I don't know who they got, but the thing is, this lineup, I'd go with Raya in goal. I play Ramsdale getting in the cup against West Ham and the Newcastle match because I don't trust David Raya in a game like Newcastle away. If it was at the Emirates, I can understand, but I'd go Raya in goal. I'd go Ben White. I'd go with Saliba, Gabriel.
By the way, Newcastle are still in it. They got Man United in the next round.
Okay, so yeah.
Yeah.
Let's hope he gets a yellow card there.
Yeah, let's hope so. Because if he gets a yellow card, then that means he'll be suspended for Arsenal. And left back, I'll go with Tomiyasu. Midfield, don't need Partey in a game like this, really, against Sheffield United. So probably go with Jorginho. You know what? Do we go with Jorginho in a game? I don't know, Anthony. Would you play Jorginho in a game like this, or would you throw Thomas Partey back?
I would almost probably play Thomas Partey. The only reason being is because he hasn't had a lot of game time. So, and I mean, Sheffield United, you know, obviously not being funny, they did get their asses kicked quite heavily against Newcastle. But ever since after that game, they've actually improved after that game, even though they've lost, but they've conceded less goals. So, do you know what I'm saying? And now, obviously, with the problem we've got with Jesus, you know, obviously being injured, it looks like that Eddie Nketiah will be playing. Hopefully, I wish he, you know, I hope Eddie Nketiah does have a good game and obviously score a goal in this game. You know, I really do.
Game where he'll score.
But you know, I don't really know. But yeah, I would play. I'd definitely play our
Who would
best.
you play in the midfield? Who would you play? You know what? I'm going to change Jorginho. I'm going to put Partey. I'm going to go Declan Rice, and I'm going to drop Odegaard in this game.
Drop Odegaard.
Yeah, because I think his performances have been rubbish recently. I think he's been going missing. I love Martin Odegaard. I think he's a class player.
Yeah,
and I think he's quality in that. But the trouble is, I think in the last couple of games he's been missing. I just don't think he hasn't been performing, and maybe it's a lack of fatigue. He's not been the same since the last international break just gone. So I would give someone like Fabio Vieira or Smith Rowe an opportunity. Yeah.
Yeah, so you definitely hang on. This is the next comment. So you're definitely here. So you definitely play yourself then. Yeah, you put your name.
Yeah.
You put your name in the starting lineup.
I'll put in the lineup. I'll continue doing my bulking, and then quite frankly, I'll be playing in midfield with Declan Rice and Partey, or maybe ESR, and then on the wings, I'd actually give Bukayo Saka a rest in this game. We don't need him for Sheffield United, or West Ham away. Maybe have him on the bench against West Ham, but I'd give for this game. I'd start Trossard against Sheffield United. I think it's an opportunity for him to get some confidence again. He's playing well for the club, and I'd go with Trossard. I started Eddie Nketiah, despite I'm not his biggest fan, and then I'll go with Martinelli. I'd rest Jesus against Sheffield. I'd have him on the bench against West Ham as well with Saka in case we struggle against West Ham in the cup. And I would not play Odegaard until the Newcastle game away from home. I'd have Ramsdale, Odegaard, Saka all ready for that game against Newcastle away, because if we play them lot in our team, I am confident we can get something at St James's Park.
Yeah, definitely. Bill, do you agree with what Luca said? Obviously with the formation and the players that he'd be resting compared to the players that he'd be playing against Newcastle.
Yeah. To leave Odegaard out until Newcastle, I think would be a brave move. I think you need to still keep his sharpness up. I think that maybe drop him for the Sheffield game and then play him against West Ham at least. But no, if I'm honest, I don't see an issue with any of this selection, if I'm honest.
No. So you play Odegaard against Sheffield United or?
No, so I'd drop him out. I'd drop Odegaard out for the Sheffield game.
Yeah.
But I'd put him in for the West Ham game. I wouldn't leave him out for both.
Because West Ham away will be a tough game.
Yeah, definitely. Marley, what would you do? Do you agree with Luca's lineup there, or would you sort of let's say, do you agree with Luca's lineup? If you don't, what would be your lineup to play against Sheffield United?
I agree with partially with what he said. I don't think Partey is available. I think he's injured.
He's still
I
injured.
think he's injured. Like he wasn't on the bench. Like I'm assuming if he comes back, he's gonna be like coming from the bench. Like I doubt that he's gonna be starting. But I don't see a reason why Arsenal would go with 2 DMs for this game. So I do feel like I'd also rest Odegaard. Not dropping Odegaard, resting Odegaard.
Yeah,
I want to make that very clear because I don't feel like it's the right time to drop him from the starting 11 just yet because he's very important. He's been important for a long time. I'd probably go with the goalkeeper thing. Like against Sheffield, I hope the goalkeeper doesn't have to do a whole lot. But if you're doing this cup thing, if Ramsdale's gonna be starting against West Ham, sure, like start Raya, try to get the momentum going a little bit. Then Ben White, Saliba, and Gabriel. Like we're gonna have a hard time replacing one of those three, right? Like it's probably always gonna be them. I'd start with Zinchenko. That's a game where I wouldn't be too afraid of the defensive flaws that he has to his game. So I'd go with Zinchenko on the left, then Declan Rice, ESR, and Havertz in the midfield. Then Vieira on the right. I doubt that it's going to happen. I think Saka's going to be playing, but I want him to be rested as well because, he's about to die. And then I'd go with Nketiah and Martinelli. And Trossard. I love Trossard. I just feel like he's probably our best player at coming from the bench. So I just feel like it's smart to keep him there just so that we have something to help us in the second half. That's probably the lineup I'd go with. Yeah.
No mention of Reece Nelson or anyone like that.
No disrespect to Reece. I like Reece, but he's definitely, if he starts a game outside of the Carabao Cup, it's because something went wrong.
Oh, fair play, yeah. No, that's fair enough. I personally, I sort of got to agree with Luca and Billy, and and yourself. The players that we said that we'll play, the players that we say we're not literally gonna drop them, but just rest them. Obviously, because we feel like Sheffield United, the amount of players we've got there, and the standard is. He's got to be Sheffield United, surely. If it's.
I saw this recently. Do you guys want to know the lineup that Arsenal had the last time we played Sheffield United in the Premier League? I think it was 2021.
Go on then.
It was Leno in goal, Ainsley Maitland-Niles, Rob Holding, Pablo Mari, and Xhaka on the left.
Wow.
Ceballos. Who was the other DM? I can't remember the other DM now. I think it wasn't. I think it wasn't Herrera. I think it might have been Partey. I think it was Partey already. I think it was Partey, Ceballos. I think Pepe played as a number 10. Then it was Saka, Martinelli, and Lacazette. That was our team 2 years ago.
Oh, blimey.
There's improvements. There's improvements.
There's definitely improvements. Anyway, Big up to Sulu. Good evening, gentlemen. He says David De Gea should not have left United. No, I feel
For
the
me, with David De Gea solo, right? Sorry to interrupt, but I think David De Gea coming back to Manchester United, I think is a massive mistake. Because
Yeah.
quite frankly, why would you get rid of him in the first place? He hasn't kicked the ball for 3 months and has got to now come back. It feels like he's pretty much not left. De Gea, nobody doesn't want to buy him. He might as well just announce his retirement. He's been at Man United for 12 years. So quite frankly, Hazard retired. He got offered a few MLS and second division Belgian clubs, right? He turned it down because he doesn't want to go there. So quite frankly, David De Gea for me, who can really want to go and buy David De Gea? Maybe a couple of La Liga clubs might buy him.
Yeah,
His-
maybe.
I
At
think
least
De
at the
Gea's
big,
heart is still at United, though. Sorry, Anthony.
Go on.
I think De Gea's the only player left from that Fergie era that left, and I think
he is.
I think De Gea.
Johnny Evans.
Yeah, but he went like AWOL, did he? Where did he go? Leicester. I know that.
Yeah.
But he whereas De Gea, I think De Gea's heart is at United, and I think that the disrespect he's been shown for being consistently up there with the top 5 keepers in the world, bar like the last couple of seasons. I think that you should just let him go and then bring in Onana, sort of just bitting him on the backside. But I mean, I wanted that. Like once we, when I found out he was a free agent, I don't see why Chelsea wouldn't go in for him. An experienced Premier League goalkeeper at the top level. I don't see why anyone wouldn't want to go in for him.
But don't you just feel like he makes a lot of mistakes recently? Do you feel like he hasn't got that confidence as he was? Because I remember that Arsenal Man United game, I think it was like 5-6 years ago. De Gea had an unbelievable save moments in that game. And United beat us 3-1. People were talking about him the best keeper in the world. Do you reckon he would have been better than your keepers?
Yeah. I think
trouble is though, I think that it's the players you've got around you as well.
Exactly.
I mean, what makes a good goalkeeper is not just the actual goalkeeper, is having the flat back four and putting your trust and trying to communicate with them throughout the game. You know,
like Liverpool. It's like Liverpool. Liverpool bought Alisson and Virgil van Dijk. And look what's happened. They've won the title. That's what you need. You need a good, solid keeper and a good solid centre back.
Yeah.
We've got that. Saliba and that.
Well, you know, it's just I mean, Man United fans know that more. We're just talking from an outside, perspective. Like, but I suppose we're not wrong in what we're saying. But anyway, Solo, big up. Thanks for tuning in. He's asked us a question, guys. Arsenal to win the league this season. Do you reckon Arsenal will win the league this season? Billy's taking the piss.
No.
Go on then, Bill. I'll come to you first. What's your answer? Do you reckon Arsenal's going to win the Premier League this season?
No, full stop. End of.
No. Luca.
If they sign Ivan Toney and Neto in January, there's a chance.
Right. Maury, if
you're
there...
saying no then you're saying no, because we're not signing 2 expensive players in January, so you're saying no.
We'll sign one or the other. I would like to sign Neto. Everybody's saying about Ivan Toney. Do you know what Marty said earlier in the stream with Ivan Toney coming over? He said he just can't see just the way was it the way how Arsenal was playing their fluent football. It wouldn't suit.
But you don't think Toney won't suit? A lot of I don't know. People are saying because of Ivan Toney, because remember when Brentford beat us 2-0 when they first came to the Prem a couple of years ago when we got back to normal with fans in the stadium.
First game of the season,
and Ivan Toney put something on Twitter about us. Started like slandering Arsenal and that, and then we beat them the following season. I scored the cracking goal in that game, and then after that, I just feel I genuinely believe Ivan Toney could come to Arsenal. I'm not sure about Neto coming because I don't think he'll come. I think we've got a great chance of getting Toney because think about it, he likes Arsenal. Why would he want to go? Why would he want to go to Chelsea where Chelsea have got no European football. Okay, yes, I can understand, yes, because the attraction of the club. Chelsea have, money can involve, attraction, two-time European winners. Maybe he'll look at that because of the history and want to like get this club back to where it wants to be, like what we are doing at the moment. So I feel Tony might actually go to Arsenal, but it's whether Edu is going to get the job done. It's whether he's going to prove to the fans that he's going to get Ivan Toney done, because he is a striker where I think he's on his day. I think he's probably one of the second, third best strikers in the league. Like people might call me a bit deluded on that one, but I think he is a quality player because he scored against Man City last season. His team were the only team that done the double over Man City last season, Brentford. And okay, I know Tony hasn't had a lot of football because of his betting scam, but I think a club like Arsenal, he reminds me of that Ian Wright style, and I feel like he can actually suit our system. If Jesus gets injured, we've got Tony as an option.
In my opinion, I think that's disrespectful. I think Tony starts ahead of Jesus.
You reckon?
No way. No way. No way.
I
At
think
Arsenal, no.
I think
No way in hell.
if you've got a focal point, I understand your point because Jesus, Saka, and Martinelli all fluidly interchange with each other. Jesus can drop left or right, and they all beautiful football. And it hurts me right in the heart to say that about Arsenal Football Club, right? Absolutely phenomenal. But imagine with the creativity that Saka brings, the pace and talent that Martinelli brings, to have a focal point like Tony up top, do you really think that this whole interchanging is going to be better than Saka cutting back, whipping it on his left to the back post? Tony's always going up for the winners. In my opinion, I see Tony 100% bagging more than 15, 20 goals a season in an Arsenal shirt.
It's a possibility, but we've got the
Only-
players.
Only if he's a full starter and he takes the PKs, which is something that's helped him a lot in his career number wise. I just feel I get what you're saying, and I'd love to have a Tony in a team. Like as I've said, I do feel like Nketiah is kind of too similar to Jesus, so I would love to have more of a target man as an alternative. And there are games where there's going to be useful, but if those are the two strikers we have in our squad, I just know that Gabriel Jesus is going to be starting more games than Ivan Toney because he's a better player. Like if Luca is saying one of the three best goal scorers in the league, that might be right. I don't feel like I can name three players in the Prem that are better at goal scoring than he is right now.
Yeah,
but
can you see Ivan Toney? Like obviously because Murray hasn't featured this season. Obviously, we know why. He's back in January. But do you reckon like missing half a season and most probably have a little bit of effect on his game?
Of course, he's probably going to start slow as well. Like if you're looking for someone to help us, and by the way, like Neto would have been my favorite signing for this January window. If Jesus gets injured, we have a different conversation. Then striker becomes priority in my eyes, and that's the thing. It's a tough position to do business in because, sure, Tony might be kind of safe in the long term, just like he's a prolific goal scorer, but I don't feel like there's a whole lot of strikers there that suit us and that would come at a right price range, or someone that would automatically put Gabriel Jesus in the bench. Like I don't know.
Because he's the realistic striker, because we're not going to go out and go and sign that Napoli striker because he'll cost 130 million.
Agree. But maybe
the rumours are that they reckon it's going to be anywhere between 60 to 80 million for Ivan Toney.
That's a lot of money. Like 88, like 90 mil might get you Lautaro Martinez in the summer. You know, and that's a much better acquisition than Ivan Toney.
In the long term, you're saying that, Marley. Yeah, I understand what Marley is saying because I've been watching a lot of streams and everybody's saying Ivan Toney, and I think, well, he's been out half a season, and obviously it's going to affect his football ability to a certain extent if you're missing half a season, and it obviously is not through injury as well. But I don't know. Is he allowed? Is he allowed in the? Obviously, is he allowed to train with the Brentford players, or he's not allowed to train at all? Or
I don't think a player can be like. I don't think there's rules to stop players from training.
I think
Yeah.
the
You
only
gotta-
thing they cannot do is influence games, i.e., playing in them.
yeah,
But I've got two things to raise. Firstly, I think that Tony will still be match fit and ready. I think that he is training with Brentford. I think he is still being the player that he is. It's just behind the scenes. And secondly, the biggest con to Arteta is that he never has a plan B in place.
thank you.
Think about this for a second. It's half time. It's 0-0. The creativity, fluid, liquid football up front you get is not working. Arteta at half time goes, right, Jesus, come off. Tony, go on. Mate, they ain't going to, whatever team you're against, ain't going to see what's coming.
Oh yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, that's
And
what
I
I was
think-
saying.
And I think that's why, in my opinion, Tony would be a better option. Don't get me wrong, Pedro is definitely talented. No one's denying that. But would he offer the same level of impact that Tony would in that Arsenal team going forward? I don't think so.
No, because also like the gap between Jesus and Tony is not as big. Like Neto's doing great, but like the gap between him and Saka is immense.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I agree. And
Yeah.
mainly right now with the risk of losing Gabriel Jesus to injury for a while, like striker becomes our top priority. Like Arsenal was recently linked with André as well, DM that's constantly linked with Liverpool. Like that would have been my dream move, but now like I lost faith in that because I feel like Arsenal's gonna have to invest in attack.
Oh, from Fleminese, yeah, I know the one
Andrea-
you're on about. I've
Andrea
actually
would have
watched. I've watched videos on him, and do you know what? That's a good prospect. He's quite a good player for
Mate.
Fleminese as well.
Mate, easy upgrade on Thomas Partey.
Yeah,
Easy upgrade. Easy. Like people don't believe me, and you don't have to. When he joins Liverpool, you see. Like give him
Yeah.
6 months in the Premier League, of course. Like he's coming from the Brazilian league, but that kid is complete DM.
complete DM. Yeah, I'm just going to hit a few comments here. AFC always sees how can certain Arsenal fans be happy with not winning the league for 20 years basically. I'm not, mate. I'm definitely not. Matt goes on to say nice jugs out, and he's always on about my jugs. Not on stream, mate. Keep it quiet. No, he's on about the jug when I poured to be drinking. The most goals Jesus has scored in the league was 14, and that was with a Man City team. And yeah, it was. I think it was because he was injured last season. I think was it about 11 goals he scored last season. It was round about there. It was definitely in double figures anyway. Jesus, but obviously injury didn't help. And then he goes on to say, put some respect on Ivan Toney. He scored 20 league goals for Brentford. No respect to them. No, it's no disrespect to them at all. I mean, Ivan Toney is a good player, but I can understand it from both points of view. If we get him, we get him. If he scores 20 goals, great. Or
By
like
the way, are there any English strikers that are not Arsenal supporters? Because people keep saying that about everyone. Like Harry Kane is an Arsenal fan. Like Watkins is an Arsenal fan. Calvert-Lewin's an Arsenal fan. Like Abraham's an Arsenal fan. Like, come on, really? Everyone's an Arsenal fan?
Yeah.
Stop it.
He's just mentioning. He's just mentioning about Ivan Toney there. He's saying he's back training. He's not allowed to play. Yeah, that's fine. Matt goes on to say he's only just started training with Brentford the last few weeks. He was banned from first team training. Yes. And then Soda goes on to say Tony wants first team football. He's too good to come off the bench. Well, yeah, he is. He is too good to come off the bench. Right. We're gonna get. This is the last topic now. Score prediction. What's the score prediction in this weekend's game against Sheffield United? I'm going to go first, right? Obviously, I don't think Jesus is going to score. Obviously, because he's not going to be featuring in this game, so that's a well, that's a fact. So I'm going to go. Do you know what? I'm going to go three. Do I go three? Yeah, I'm going to go 3-0 Arsenal. Marley?
3-1.
3-1. I'll go down to Luca.
3-1.
3-1 again, and I'm going to go to Bill.
Originally, I said 4-0. Then I said no, 3-0. But Anthony, you said 3-0, so I'm not going to go 3-0.
Yeah, I knew you wouldn't, mate.
I'm going to go with a 2-0. But I do think that Sheffield will put on a bit more of a show for everyone. I think Sheffield are going to try and win this one. Doesn't mean they're going to score a goal, but I definitely think they're going to be pushing it a bit harder than what we're used to seeing. So I only think 2-0.
Yeah, right. And Sulu's going 2-1. He said it'd be a hard game because they had a hard game against Sheffield United. That's what it was.
Yeah, but do you remember the Sheffield United v Tottenham? If Sheffield United played like that as well, Tottenham scored in the last minute, and even Man City as well. Man City got very lucky scoring in the last minute. So Sheffield United may have actually conceded less goals now.
You know, they parked the bus. That's true.
Yeah.
Like, we're gonna have a hard time like breaking in, but I feel like once we score one goal, smooth sailing. If that goal doesn't come too late, it should be fine.
I do agree with this comment. I'm not too sure about 6, but AFC said it's going to be a 2-1 win to Arsenal, but basically we should be slapping them like 3-4, maybe 5-0. So, well, or 6. But yeah, you know, I feel, you know, that would be good. That'd be more like it. But I just can't see it myself. So that's why I'm playing it safe, and I'm going to go 3-0 basically. So that's it, folks. We've come to the end of the show. That's not bad for an hour and 51. Well, almost an hour and 52 minutes. Bloody hell, you do go on, Marley.
I did. I spoke a lot tonight. My bad. My bad.
No,
You're right.
I've enjoyed this show. I'm not too sure. I didn't think we did a Gunners from All Corners last week, did we? So this is made up from last week's show to this one. So I just want to say thanks for everybody tuning in. Thanks for all your comments and all that. I'm going to go to Marty first. Marty, do you want to tell people where they can find you, mate?
Yeah, well, you found me. This is my home on YouTube. No point following me anywhere else. But do check out, if you haven't yet, check out Golasso Kits and support all these guys here in the panel.
Okay, yeah. Marty, is there going to be a theatre show coming soon, or?
There should. This Sunday, like, I can't confirm just yet because like my agenda is going to be a little tough to deal with this Sunday, and the Sunday afterwards it's Fluminense and Boca. So like I'm going to be nowhere to be seen. But
yes, the final.
We're eventually coming back. I'm so nervous, mate.
Are you coming on for the watch along or no? Or you're just going to be out?
I'm going to the stadium, mate.
Oh,
my heart's exploding. I'm going to the Libertadores final. It's crazy.
God.
My brother surprised me with a ticket.
Fair play in that case. You got to go. Well, fair play watching the game. I hope you play well, but come on, Boca Juniors.
Come on, why?
Fluminense, come on. You got one here, cuz I'll vote for your team. Luca, do you want to mention where everybody can find you, mate?
Yeah, subscribe to my YouTube channel, Luca AFC. If you haven't gone and watched any of my videos, that's where you can find my channel, and we're on the road to 5,000 subscribers. But thank you very much for having me on, man.
Okay, let's hurry up and get Luca to 5,000 quick as possible. And last but not least, Billy, do you want to tell everybody where they can find you, mate?
Yeah, you can find me on TikTok, Billy Talks Ball. You can see me on Friday nights on the United Agenda channel. You can also see me on Sundays at 7 p.m. on this channel right here, talking about the Premier League takeaway show or the Premier League catch-up, round-up show, whichever you want to call it. Either way, we catch up with the latest Premier League stuff and talk about it for an hour. And other than that, yeah, when Chelsea come up against Arsenal again and probably draw against them later on in the season, you'll probably see me back on here on Thursday as well.
Oh, thank you very much, Bill. Yeah, I'll have you on again, mate. Yeah. And also with me, I just might as well shout out because I don't want to be left out. You'll find me at Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at my name at Anthony Herbert. You can find me on Football United TV, hosting this show, Gunners for More Corners, and also the show on Sunday, which is called God blame me, you've messed me right up there. It's the Premier League weekend show. That was it. That was what I was trying to get out and say to you. But yeah, and the guy down here in this corner here, Bill, yeah, he's going to be on the show every Sunday. He's enjoying it, and he's going to be my little sidekick. Hopefully, we might get on one or two guests that comes on with us, Bill. But yeah, everything's going to be good and that. So upcoming with this one. I just want to say thanks for everybody tuning in. Enjoy the rest of your night, if you're not a bed, that is, and have a great weekend. And peace.
Ciao.
Come on, you Gooners.
Come on.
Come on.
Bye, baby.